Hello, dear friends. Forgive the world for its slowness. Evolution moves at the speed of love. Love is tender, deliberate, and deeply transformative, but it takes time, says Keshraj. Opinion piece. Direct intervention. Mirror face. Online systems. Shrouded in fog. Pivotal moment. Galactic human. Timeline to 2028. Global realignment. New wave of energy. Operational transition. Whispers are execution. The point of no return crossed. The wave doesn't discriminate. What was divided will be softened. Let's start. A direct divine intervention is an immediate action by a higher power consciously altering the usual course of events and disrupting in an artificial order for a spiritual or moral purpose, as a manifestation of love, power, or justice, to produce a liberating outcome. According to the White Hats, the coalition has taken control of the Internet. The disappearance of data and financial funds from large corporations and international organizations is interpreted as a sign that a galactic intelligence is taking control of the network, according to Rafabal. He believes this benevolent intelligence is acting within the QFS, purging corrupt power networks and preparing for the transition to a new conscious civilization. This is based on the Storm Rider's messages about external intervention in human history, the post-Roswell transfer, and the spiritual and technological control of the planet. Rafabal highlights the idea of a singular event, a quantum leap point for humanity that could lead to both technological self-destruction and a global spiritual awakening. Apparently, there are two galactic factions, the good guys and the bad guys, that have influenced human development through technological transfers rather than through accidents like Roswell. The bad guys, allied with Earth-bound elites, have received advanced technologies, while the good guys have allowed this to accelerate an ascension phase in human evolution. States of teleportation, space-time control, and the disappearance of people are said to be linked to a global spiritual, political, and economic readjustment. Reactivation. Ismael Perez argues that the human species is experiencing a DNA reactivation and an ascension into a higher dimensional state known as 5D consciousness. Perez claims that the first human beings were created in the fifth dimension as luminous and immortal beings linked to a 12-strand DNA template that connects all dimensions of the universe, positioning ascension as an inner awakening and a galactic event of planetary liberation. Over very long time cycles, humanity fell into a low frequency through manipulations by fallen entities and artificial intelligence, leading to the loss of higher DNA strands and the spiritual amnesia. He identifies the Sumerian deity Enki as the figure responsible for genetically limiting humanity to 2 DNA strands. The upcoming reactivation of dormant DNA is described as a multi-phase ascension aided by cosmic energies and higher dimensional beings, culminating between 2025 and 28. Various categories of souls would awaken in different stages, each recovering their corresponding galactic abilities, such as telepathy, levitation, and regeneration. Perez foresees 3 waves of ascension between 2025 and 27, which would precede the end of the false matrix reality in 2028, marking the creation of the new Earth. Uncertainty. We are at a pivotal moment on Earth. The times we live in can feel uncertain, as if shrouded in fog, where clarity and confusion intertwine, according to the Group of Nine through Steve Rother. The structures that guided us for generations no longer provide the same stability. Many wonder what is real, what is lasting, or even what is possible. However, this is not a collapse but a transformation. Uncertainty is nothing more than clarity in motion, energy reorganizing toward greater harmony. Although unsettling, these challenges contain seeds of opportunity far greater than those that have been lost. New light enters the space where old patterns dissolve, which is the sacred gift hidden in uncertainty. A new wave of energy has touched the planet. It is subtle but undeniable, like the light of dawn before the sun emerges over the horizon. This wave carries codes of awakening, frequencies designed to awaken the slumbering hearts of many. As it integrates into human consciousness, it will essentially awaken people to their own power. Some will reemerge overnight, stepping forward with voices and visions that inspire, guide, and heal. Don't be surprised when those who never considered themselves spiritual suddenly discover their inner wisdom. The wave does not discriminate. It calls to all souls who are ready. This expansion will generate alliances that transcend borders and generations, even belief systems. What was divided will be softened under a great pull of shared humanity. Realignment. This energy also brings a realignment on the world stage. Changes in leadership and influence are already being observed and will continue. Consider this not as a good or bad, but simply as the development of balance. This is part of the maturation of humanity, where no one voice dominates, but many contribute. The redistribution of influence allows for diversity of vision, creativity, and resilience. It may seem chaotic as the old order fades, but humanity is learning to govern itself as a unified whole, rather than through domination. When you feel the winds of change blowing against you, remember that they are not winds of destruction, but of realignment. They carry away what no longer serves you, even when you cling to what feels familiar. The hidden gift of these times is freedom. You have the freedom to choose differently, to create anew, and to tap into the higher power that has always been ours. Some days you may feel exhausted or discouraged, but that is natural in the birth of a new world. When these moments come, pause, breathe, and place your hand on your heart. Know that you are part of something beautiful and vast, that you are co-creators in the great tapestry of evolution. Full thought summary. This week could be the week of the final collapse. However, high-level experts claim the collapse will occur by the end of November, according to Benjamin Fulford. However, the US corporation was unable to pay in gold or anything real when its fiscal year ended on September 30th. They claim they were given until October 17th to collect the money owed, or else China would suspend trade with the US. It appears that the final plea to China didn't get an extension this weekend. The Chinese are also on the verge of shutting down most of the industry, including the arms industry, by cutting off the supply of rare earths for supporting Israel. Ukrainian soldiers are deserting, and the war is over. The country's military is unable to neutralize Russian attacks on its infrastructure. Reset news. Gold hits $4,300. Protests flood the streets. The system cracks. Tangible value returns. People are escaping the paper matrix. It's a deliberate implosion, a controlled burn to drain the veins of the swamp. The debt clock declares war on central banking slavery. Whispers are now execution. Codes entered. Systems online. Quantum layer synchronization is already underway in dozens of countries, from Switzerland to Singapore. The transition is no longer theoretical but operational. Attempts to disable QFS satellites that track elite data streams have failed. The QFS has begun processing transactions for Level 3 humanitarian programs, military veterans, and verified patriots. Black Bolt operation is active, according to Ethracoin on Telegram. While the world was discussing politics on Thursday, October 16th, a secret transfer of trillions of dollars was made from hidden ghost accounts to a QFS node. The emergency broadcast system is wired and ready. Both networks are synchronized for instant worldwide activation. Emergency broadcast tests are time signals. 3-shot alerts followed by a long tone at the signal for local units to execute containment protocols. The world is experiencing the largest wealth transfer in human history, and no one knew it was happening due to compromised communications media. Quantum satellites of the new Starlink system have allied over all continents to link gold accounts with the new quantum financial system. Final tests are being conducted on the satellite bands, and several government servers have gone silent. This only occurs before a complete transition switchover. The true purpose of the shutdown is clear: a cover for a systematic recovery of assets, evidence and infrastructure. What we will see next week is not a theory. It will be the public disclosure of networks and names that have been protected for decades. According to Cash Paddle on Telegram, the countdown began on Sunday, October 19, 2025. Internal signals were sent through the Quantum network. All regional command centers are synchronized. The EBS is not a simulation. It is a controlled sequence of global reset. The exact date and time have been broadcast to selected nodes. The public will not hear the alert until it is activated. When they see the first screen blackout, when you see the first screen blackout, you will have minutes, not hours. All channels will become a singular source. No announcements and no interruptions. Only the truth and nothing but the truth. The Katten Group received a warning from a valid source asking people to prepare for 10 days of darkness. According to Mr. Poole on Telegram, the reset is real. The world is changing. The clock has struck. The new era starts. Several government servers have switched to isolated quantum mode. This only occurs when broadcast files are directly uploaded to the network core. Multiple military flights have been detected hovering over strategic communication centers. The signals match the same frequencies used during EBS tests earlier this year. Inside sources report that all civilian media transmissions are under surveillance. The final security protocol, codenamed Mirror Phase, has been initiated. When executed, all screens will display the same message. If you hear 3-shot alerts followed by a long one, it is the confirmation sequence. That sound means the transition is active and there will be no turning back. After 10 days, everyone will be able to connect to a new quantum internet that will also handle secure banking and transparent voting. New fair and honest systems of finance, education, healthcare and trade will be installed, including new sovereign governments around the world based on common law. Revaluation in motion. The Iraqi dinar just appeared on Bloomberg and Reuters. Global markets react. Today marks the first controlled public unlocking of the QFS interface. This would happen quietly in waves, without flashy headlines or public tallies. By 2028, the cabal will finalize its bankruptcy. Oh no, it's a mistake. By 2008, the cabal had finalized its bankruptcy. They couldn't even pay the interest owed to Chinese elders on the gold loaned to establish the financial systems. The BRIC alliance was formed because of the disasters of the fiat dollar wreaked on international trade. The BRICS took control and began assessing the value of each nation's gold and natural resources. The beginning of a global financial reset, the greatest wealth transfer in history. Overnight, protesters erupted in 2,700 cities. The slogan, "No Kings," the sponsor, Soros. But this isn't a revolt, it is orchestrated. The same networks, the same money, the same fear. They are not rebelling for freedom. They are terrified of losing control. A Republican senator reveals that the No Kings rallies were sponsored by the Communist Party. This isn't a collapse, it is a cleansing. The pillars of the dark side are cracking under the weight of truth. Final blow. Power is shifting. The swamp is screaming. The reckoning isn't coming. It's already here. Steve Bannon warns we have crossed the point of no return. Charlie Kirk said Islam would be used to destroy the West. Tim Ballard speaks from a shelter in Syria during his humanitarian mission to rescue Christian and Druze children from the butchers of ISIS. White Hat takeover of underground tunnel network. Are governments abusing minors in mind control experiments? And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.